Today we're doing one of my favorite meals to eat, but for some strange reason I don't make it as often as I should. That is stew chicken. Now yes, I have a stew chicken video on the channel already, but that video is really about the science behind stewing chicken and how to stew and that kind of thing. And I will post a link to that video in the video description here, so if you want to check that out, you can check that out. Yes, I'll be going through these steps, but not as in much detail as I did in that video. If you really want to know how to stew, like the fundamentals of stewing, check out that video first and then you can come back to this one. This one is about a recipe, and I'm using quotes like this because it's about ingredients, but it's not so much about measurements. I learned to stew chicken from different people in my life along the span of my lifetime, and while I did get guidance from them, nobody actually gave measurements. And if you know about stewing chicken, you would know that your mother, your grandmother, or your father, whoever, your uncle, your auntie, and then they would hand down a stew chicken recipe, but would never tell you, put a pound of this, or a cup of that, or that kind of thing. It's that kind of recipe. It's the kind of thing where you just had a feel, let the ancestors guide you and that kind of thing. So we're doing that today. I'll show you how to put together a nice stew chicken, the ingredients I like to use. And of course, we having, getting some help from, boom, you're seeing that there, the Angostura bitters. These are local favorite. If you're not in Trinidad and Tobago, fear not, you could still get this online. You could get it on Amazon. So yeah, you could look out for it on Amazon. You could buy it and use it. So today, I will be adding bitters to my stew chicken to make it taste even more best than it is usually tastes. And yeah, I think that's enough talking. Let me jump into it one time. All right, so the first thing I'm gonna do is cut up the chicken. I have a whole chicken here that I'm gonna cut into parts, well, smaller parts. For stew chicken, you really want kind of like bite-sized pieces. You don't want like big chunks of chicken when you're stewing. And a couple of reasons for that. Obviously for eating purposes, you don't want to be holding a big piece of, chicken breast or a big piece of thigh when you're, eating it with, like we say, rice or dumpling or whatever it is, your provision and that kind of thing. So yeah, in terms of the ease of eating, the size of the chicken is important. And also for the stewing process, because you want that caramelization to cover the pieces of chicken evenly and coat it evenly. You want some manageable size or manageable pieces of chicken in the pot. So you're not going for no big chunks of chicken, you're going for some nice bite-size-ish pieces of chicken, depending on how big your mouth is, I guess. So pieces of chicken like this, this kind of size, I think is decent for stewing chicken. And obviously you want to use a knife that has some weight to it that will cut through the chicken with relative ease. When you reach the part with the bone, you want to apply a little elbow grease, a little pressure to cut through the bone as well. If you have a cleaver, you could use that, make the job even easier. And if your hand, my hand is the hardest hands. I don't have like asbestos hands, but it could take a little pressure so I could kind of pound down on it and get through the bone. But if your hands are more delicate, then I would suggest using like a cleaver to cut through the chicken without damaging your hands. And back in the day, I used to be a boneless breast man, right? Anything I make in, whether it's Jira chicken, stew chicken, curry chicken, I used to, do boneless breast. But the fact of the matter is, you have flavor in the bone. So doing like other pieces like drumstick, like thigh, the dark meat and that kind of thing, just add way more flavor to your stew chicken, your chicken dishes, rather than just using boneless breast. So while, my preference is boneless breast, in terms of like flavor, you can't beat using all these other pieces of chicken, like a whole chicken and cutting it up. You can't beat that. Really no comparison. All right, so we have our chicken cut up, and now let's move on to the most important part, seasoning this chicken. So essential part of seasoning the chicken is washing the chicken. So I'm going in with some lime here, squeezing it. So squeezing some lime juice over it. Don't let the seeds go in. And rub that. Give it a rinse. Put some water in there. Set out. And you want to make sure and get as much liquid out of this chicken as possible, because truth be told, when you're stewing chicken, preferably you want the chicken to be as dry as possible. And I think I did explain why this is important in the other video that I did in terms of the science behind you know, the caramelization process and that kind of thing. You want like dry pieces of meat, but because we have to wash the chicken, you wouldn't get the meat totally dry. It would have some moisture in there, but that's all right. All right, I want to go in with a little more lime juice here. All right, so for the other ingredients for our seasoning, I have some shadow benny. Well, I have a lot of shadow benny. I have some garlic that peeled already, and I have some pimentos. And I'm gonna make a basic seasoning for this. Now, the thing is, this is not something you would have to do every time you're making stewed chicken. So because I'm gonna make a big batch of this, the next time I'm making stewed chicken, it's just for me to just put my blended seasoning into the chicken and be ready to go. But for the purposes of this video, I'm just gonna show you a nice little quick seasoning that I like to put together for my stewed chicken and my fish and that kind of thing. So for the shadow benny, I just cutting these ends off. And I just want to give a rough chop to these pimentos. Again, all of this going into the food processor. You don't want to give the food processor too much work. So let's give a rough chop on this garlic. And again, it's not really about exact measurements. It's, do it. If it feels right, all right, then you're good to go. All right, so all our seasonings going into the food processor. All right, so our green seasoning is done. The food processor do all the work for us. All right, time to season up this bad boy. I'm going in with some salt, some black pepper, a couple dashes of our Angostura aromatic bitters, a couple tablespoons of our green seasoning. All right, and at this point, you want to go in with your clean hands and you need to massage this. So you can't do this with no spoon or nothing. So you can't season no chicken with no spoon. You gotta use your hands, go in and massage that seasoning into the chicken. That is the only way to do it. If you're doing it any other way, you're not doing it properly. When we say seasoned chicken, this is what we mean. If your chicken ain't looking like this, it ain't seasoned. Properly well seasoned, every piece coated with, all that shadow benny, garlic, and pimento goodness. And of course, we have the secret ingredient, our Angostura aromatic bitters featuring inside there. Yeah, this is gonna be best. So I'm gonna let this soak. You need to let this soak for at least 1 hour, preferably overnight, to let all that seasoning soak into that chicken so that when you bite into the chicken, is flavorful right through. Yeah, so we wanna cover this, put it in the fridge, and let it sit for at least 1 hour, but preferably overnight. So we're gonna come back to this. All right, so our chicken is seasoned and we're jumping into stewing this thing one time. We're gonna go in with a little bit of oil. I would say about 1.5 tablespoons of oil into our pot. Preferably you want a nice heavy round bottom pot for stewing. And this is because you want even dispersion of heat coming up, not straight up from the bottom, but coming up to the sides of the pot as well. So the heavy round bottom pot that has captured a lot of heat is the best type of pot for stewing. If you can't get that, I know what to tell you now. Going in with about 4 tablespoons of brown sugar. Now this is the part of the process that people just have a lot of problems with, a lot of issues with. The stewing part, the browning of the sugar. This is the part where you can't do this and want to be listening to a podcast. You can't be doing this and watching TV and thing at the same time and washing clothes and them kind of thing. When you're stewing chicken, you're stewing chicken. You ain't doing nothing else. Or stewing anything. Peas, chicken, no matter what it is. This part, browning sugar, you really want to pay attention. So as the sugar starts to heat up in the oil, you would see it start to melt. When it starts to melt is when you want to start to incorporate some air into it. So you'll see me start to stir the brown sugar, and that is to incorporate some air into it and get it nice and I guess frothy. And then the timing of this is I guess the most important thing, where you want to put your chicken, or whether it's chicken or peas or beef or lamb or whatever it is you're stewing. It's, it's about putting it in at the right time to get the perfect effect of the caramelization process. Perfect effect of the meat or whatever it is hitting the sugar and it giving a nice coating to whatever it is you're stewing. I want to start to move it around in the pot. And you want to use a wooden spoon or one of these kind of spatula thingies like this. Because if you use a metal spoon, all the caramelized sugar will just stick to the metal spoon, and you don't want that. At this point, you want to start to agitate, as I say, the brown sugar in the pot. And as you'll see, it'll start to come together, it'll start to get frothy. That's what we're looking for. Continue agitating it, and I continue. So as you can see, it's starting to turn that light brown color. And you see that how it's frothing up there. The froth that you're getting is from the air that we're incorporating into the brown sugar. And now it is going from light brown to darker brown. And at this point, when it turns dark brown, is when we want to add our chicken. And as soon as you add the chicken, you want to start to move it around in the pot, so that all the pieces get a nice even coating. So you really want to toss the chicken around, and as you can see, each piece is getting a nice color to it. That is what we're looking for. So we have a nice coating going on each piece of chicken. Looking good to go here. So at this point, I want to cover our chicken. We're not adding any liquid yet. And what this is going to do, turn down the heat a little bit, is allow the chicken to spring its own water. It'll form some steam. The heat rising from the pot is going to hit the cover. Condensation is going to happen. The steam is going to go back down into the pot. And the flavor of the, chicken releasing from the chicken, condensation happening, going back down into the pot is going to intensify, that nice, flavorful chicken happening in the pot there. If you just add water, you're just going to water down your stew. You want a watery stew. You want some nice, intense flavor. So no water yet, no liquid yet. Let it spring its own water. Let the condensation, the steam action happen, and let it fall back into the chicken and start to braise the chicken cooking in its own juices and not some foreign liquid. So yeah, we're good to go. Give it about 3 to 4 minutes and then we'll take a look at it and see how it goes. 5 minutes later, you see how we're looking here. And you see why we don't add any extra liquid to the pot, because you see how much water the chicken spring on its own. So no need to add any liquid before this stage. Again, all that will do is kind of like water down your stew. So this is the chicken cooking in its own juices. And that is what we want. Nice, flavorful stew, flavor down to the bone. Right, so at this point, I'm gonna add a few other ingredients to make this thing special. Of course, you know, we had to add a touch of ruku. Couple tablespoons. We add in some coconut milk here. I add in a heaping teaspoon of tomato paste. I know people like to add ketchup to their stews, but I don't use ketchup. I don't cook with ketchup. I'm not a ketchup person. For me, tomato paste is where you'll get nice, intense tomato flavor without any kind of artificial flavorings and thing going on and extra sugar. We already have enough sugar going on in our stew here. So for me, ketchup is a no-no. I will always opt to use tomato paste instead. Bay leaf is bay, must put a bay leaf inside there. Going in with a few dashes of Angostura bitters again, and that will give us some nice spice notes in there. I know it definitely have things like cinnamon, nutmeg, and that kind of thing in bitters, so we have them flavors going on in there. And all right, so we're good to go here. At this point, if you want, you could add a Scotch bonnet pepper to add a heat to it. But I'm not doing that right now because I have some people waiting to eat here and some of them don't really eat pepper. So, I mean, it's optional. At this point, we have real flavor going on, so you even not to worry about that. If you want a heat, you could add, I guess, again, your pepper or some pepper sauce if you want. But we have a nice flavorful chicken going on here. I already tasted for salt. We're good on the salt. So I'm gonna cover this down and allow this to continue cooking for about 10 minutes or so, and then we're good to go. All right, so 10 minutes later, look at how we're looking here. We have a proper nice color going on our stew, and that nice color is from the ruku. The ruku gives it that real nice, almost kind of reddish brown color. We're looking good, we're smelling good. Got the bay leaf up in there doing the most. Of course, all the aromatics that we had in before, the shadow benny, the garlic, the pimento, and of course, the Angostura aromatic bitters, giving that, you know, the rich Caribbean flavor. As you can see, the meat separating from the bone there, so we know, right, chicken cooked, ready to go. Gonna switch off here, and we're gonna get to eating. Best part. All right, moment of truth here. Zoom in there, zoom in on that chicken there, zoom in. You see what going on there? All right, too much, back off. All right, back off, or zoom in, back off, zoom in, all right, right there, you seeing that? Are you seeing that there? Now watch this, watch the color on that chicken. That is a perfectly stewed piece of chicken there, perfect. I'm going for a taste. I had to draw for our next piece of chicken because the first one I had in my hand, I done eat out already. And that's to tell you what's going on with this chicken. Well flavorful, well seasoned. And as you can see, I use a whole set of ingredients. I use pimento, I use garlic, shadow benny, and then of course a couple dashes of the Angostura aromatic bitters. And that created a complete flavor profile for this stew chicken. Flavor down to the bone going on here. And even in the stewing process, you know, people would add onion, they would add tomato, they would add all kind of herbs and things. Trust and believe, you ain't need all that. If you like this video, please give it a thumbs up and give it a share. I will post a link to the full recipe in the video description. And if you try the recipe, tag me online, let me know how it come out, post a comment below, let me know how it turn out. Of course, the Angostura aromatic bitters is the secret ingredient up in here to take your stew chicken to the next level. So add a couple dashes now and thank me later. Thanks to Angostura aromatic bitters for sponsoring this episode. And if you're not subscribed to the channel, please take a moment to do so. And as always, thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.